Hello and welcome to episode 23 of our Timberborn Update 7 Iron Teeth Project 1K playthrough here at cycle 45, day 5. We are currently in the middle of a temperate cycle, and I do have to apologize because I did not realize I had the moddable weather mod turned on that had actually reset how our seasons were working. So we were operating off of a normal difficulty for the, past couple of episodes. So that has been fixed. I've reset it so that it is now set to hard, so we should pretty much guaranteed on day 6 when this starts get that either drought or bad tide warning. I was not aware that had been happening. People have been saying, hey, you should have this this new mod to try out, and like, okay, cool, I'll take a look at it. And then I didn't turn it off after I loaded it into another playthrough, and you know how that goes. But we are looking good regardless of that. It would have been basically the same anyway because we haven't gotten to the super challenging part. So peel that back so we can actually see. Last episode we did a little bit of fixing stuff here, did a little bit of fixing stuff here, did a little bit of, just normal stuff all over the map, and there's still plenty left to be done. But I really want to get going on getting some more terrain in place, because that is really what's holding us back for a whole lot of stuff. And the only way to start doing that is to just do it. So, we have on the very bottom our 3-layer, and then above that we have our 2-layer. So what we need to do is just blast the rest of this down as best as we can, which of course is going to be a process. You already know, just takes time. So I will go ahead and just get this whole thing situated here. We do have dirt slowly coming in, thanks to our dirt excavator here. 2 hours for 1 block's worth of dirt. But that can be sped up, and we can also just, wait, like we usually end up doing. No harm, no foul there. But we do need to start making quite a bit of progress if we are going to stand a chance of having anything accomplished in the near future. So there's just going to be a whole lot of stuff that we got to take care of, and that is just how it goes. But aside from that, there's still other things that do not involve blowing up terrain that we do need to get into. So I think it is probably going to be the most beneficial thing for us to just kind of tackle a couple things here and there all at once. Of course, we do have all of this that I did cut short last episode because I was running out of time and energy to get things accomplished. But it's a new day, and I've got at least a little bit of time to have this thing running on turbo speed. So get this thing back on triple and let these beavers do what they've got to do. We have some homeless beavers. That is a problem that is relatively easily taken care of. I just have to find somewhere to pop in a little bit of housing here. Now, I do have the large barracks available. That is something we can do, and I have been thinking about whether it is a good idea to go ahead and just build one corner all the way up before building the rest of the terrain. But I think at this point, we're really going to need to have a little bit of everything taken care of before we go gung-ho for everything, if that makes sense. And I've got a lot of ideas I can't really illustrate while we are playing the game, but hopefully I can work in the discussions of all that stuff as we get a little bit further along. So, easiest way to probably solve a lot of these problems right now is just to build one more barracks right here, because this is what's available. We have 21 injured beavers, and yes, we do have medical beds. We don't have enough. At the time that people started complaining about it, we did have enough, but now we legitimately don't. So, yet again, another time for us to just pop in a couple more of these things in various spots and try our best to just do what we can with what we got, because that's always what we end up doing. So that'll give us 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So that'll be 10, be 14, 15. Still not quite enough, but it is a start, and that is what matters. Let's prioritize building our housing and these beds, because I know we have all sorts of other stuff going on that these guys are going to be very, very slowly taken care of. You'll note that we do have all of our tube ways and everything. Got to play the sound. There we go. Those are active. They are connected to things. They're not stupendously great in terms of connectivity, but they are still available, and I think it's going to be to our benefit to pop in something over here. I think, yeah, just the way that this has been set up, I definitely could have done a little bit better. But it's fine. Life goes on. I'm just going to pop these two next to each other just so we can have a pretty normal, easily accessible spot here. Vertical tubeways on top, of course, as long as I don't put them in the wrong spot. And we're going to take this all the way up to right here. And that will join it in with this bit here. Like, I know it's not perfect, and there's a lot of things that could probably and should probably be done better. But I do want to have connectivity to a couple of different spots, just so we have the ability to move these guys a little bit quicker. And I think, based on where we are now, yeah, see, this is going to be maybe not the best thing ever, but one of the options of all time. I guess, to borrow slang from the kids. I don't have children. Let's just get that in here. I guess that will connect pretty easily to most of this. Alright. And that'll connect there. If I had, you know, a little bit better planning and I had any more vertical space, I probably could have gone straight across here. But it is what it is. We just want to have stuff connected. Obviously, down here eventually probably would make more sense to have them connected with tubeways across here. But, you know, everything just takes so much time to build that we kind of just have to wait and see what happens. Like, you can see the things light up as individual beavers build individual things. And I think we just have to be patient and wait for that. So, you can see here, probably needs to be prioritized by haulers, so now that is taken care of. Help it go just a little bit faster. Everything else, of course, will take time. So, as much as I don't particularly wish to just time-lapse the heck out of everything, we're just going to kind of have to do it. And I suppose that is just going to have to be how it is. But while we're time-lapsing, I say as I suddenly look over at the thing and see that it's day 8 and we haven't had a warning yet, so maybe it's not going to take effect until the next cycle. I don't know, the changes to the seasonal patterns, that is. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But while we're waiting for them to just, you know, build stuff, get things connected, put some dynamite down, so on and so forth, the idea that I posed last episode with the giant reservoir in the middle of the top level of the map with the mangroves and everything, a lot of you guys seem to like. Some of you think that it's probably not a smart idea to have that much water exposed to evaporation just for a single happiness point for the mangrove fruits. But what if I told you we don't fill that entire thing with mangrove fruits? We still do a lot, so a lot of the beavers can get that. But around the outside of that, we have an opportunity to put swimming pools and showers and everything so that we can get multiple things that will benefit from having water. I think that's a smart idea, and I'm going to try to make that happen. We'll see. Of course, we can be flexible. We have different opportunities to do different things, as one does. But I think that would be kind of a fun thing. See what we can make happen. I really like the idea of having the reservoir kind of in the center and all of that fun stuff, but that's not the only thing we can do with there. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work or not, but a couple of you in the comments suggested that the inside of the reservoir could be filled with tanks, because those don't displace water. So depending on how we do this, we could stack a whole bunch of tanks inside the reservoir, and as the reservoir is drained, either by evaporation or pumping or whatever, then a layer of tanks becomes available, and then the beavers can drink out of that because it won't be flooded at that point, which I guess the irony of water storage being too flooded to use is not lost on me. But regardless, I think that would be kind of a neat thing to do, a multi-purpose space allocation of things for multiple reasons, whatever, however you want to spell it. The end result's the same. I think that would be fun. I'd love to try it. It's going to be annoying to have all those things in the corner saying the building is flooded. Like, but we know what's going on. It's going to be fine. But let's go ahead and come out of this time-lapse and see what these beavers have managed to get taken care of with terrain building and dynamite placement and all that fun stuff. It's a slow process, but we'll get there eventually. Alright, so we're out of the time-lapse, and I am happy to report that yes, we are back in hard mode because now we have our bad tide warning on day 6. But what we managed to accomplish is blasting a little bit of this out, putting in these columns, just those few that I could actually access without moving the camera, and starting building this levee as high as that is reasonably going to be able to go. I got a little bit more, but I didn't want to run out of wood, so I kind of guessed where it would get to without running out, but we're going to run out anyway. Nevertheless, they will continue putting this in as they're able to harvest trees, and we should have a pretty good amount. Oh yeah, we got a lot available down here, including some that have not been marked for cutting. So let's just go take care of that real quick. Looking good. Get that back where it needs to be. And there's still some terrain that we have to, you know, do something with here. Still more that needs to be placed at the correct spot. Hey, I didn't realize there was still some kohlrabi here. Okay, well, we can get rid of that. But it's a challenge to get all of this set up correctly. If you paid attention during the time lapse, you saw me checking locations of some of these just a little bit. But that is the way things go, folks. Do I technically need to have this big column of terrain in place? No. Am I going to anyway? Yes. You already know how this goes. I am kind of a slave to routine, as it were. So I just I like it when stuff makes sense in ways that is easily traceable, easily duplicable, so on and so forth. You know how it goes. But part of the challenge of that is, in fact, getting everything set up correctly in a way that's not incredibly stupid. But such is the way it goes. I just have to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Everything is looking pretty okay. There's so much little stuff, right? There's so much little stuff that has to get done that is just not really that easy to do when you are in some sort of hyper-efficient mode where you can't move the camera because then stuff gets sped up too fast, and it just is not an ideal scenario. So let's instead come back over here, because a couple of you guys pointed out some very good stuff that I did not consider last episode, and that was one of them was that I had undermined one of my support pillars, but I honestly don't see it here. I know, like, this hasn't been put in place, and that's something that is kind of simply fixed. Just have to put in a couple of those. Yes, I do see the other staircase things. That is the staircase mod that I use in Water Reavers that I accidentally left turned on before I started recording this episode, but I'm not going back to start over. So that's why that's there, and that's why all this is there. We're just not going to use it. We're not going to worry about it. We'll get that fixed. But for the most part, it seems like we've managed to solve most of our issues over here. Got a little bit of exploding that needs to get done. Then everything else can be put in place. I'm pretty sure at this point now I can safely get rid of this, which I can. Very, very glad to see that. Obviously, there's still other stuff that needs to be removed, like all of these. So I just go until I don't see any actual logs show up. 598 planks. That is what I like to see. And not a single square of terrain has been removed as a result. We just have to, you know, do a little bit more about everything else. I'm assuming this is also going to be fine if I were to get rid of that, so I will. Yep, looking fine there. This little bit here does need to go away, so perhaps a little bit too eager of me to get rid of everything else, but you know how it goes. I'm leaving this in place because it has a ladder attached to it, and I can still get to the rest of this for the time being. But you see how it goes. You see how it goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Indeed. Just little bits and pieces here, folks. Little bits and pieces. That also needs to be removed. So we'll go ahead and do that. Grab this as best as we can, and then just continue along the path that we have set ourselves upon. It's a slow process. I don't know why that Smash Mouth song just popped into my head, but that's not how the lyrics to that go. Cool place, say it gets cooler, etc., whatever. Etc., not etc. I can't stand it when that's wrong, and then I did it myself, so no one's perfect. Especially not me. But they're going to continue working on this. Look at this back on triple speed. Let them do what they got to do. We need to turn our attention to this mess over here. And this is something that was, I'm not going to say like a hot topic discussion in the comments, but it has been brought up. Like, why am I bothering to do this just to raise it one more level? Well, the fact of the matter is I'm a little insane. And I like stuff to be exactly perfectly correct for any possible duration of time. So that is why I'm attempting to get all of this stuff absolutely perfect here. And unfortunately, this is tied in very, very closely to a whole bunch of other stuff we're doing. So we're going to need to get really, really careful about how this is all tied in, because it all has to be removed. And we're going to have to not actually connect anybody to things they should not be connected to. It's like this still shows up as connected because, aha, get rid of that. So now, no, it's still connected. What in the world is this connected to still? Aha, see, this is why you always check. Okay, we already know that's done. That is somehow still connected to everything. I thought it was, oh, there it is. Okay, what about now? Okay, good. The reason I do this is because I do not want the beavers to explode. That is not my idea of a good time, so I will be taking these ladders out. I know they still have to be accessible, but, you know, at the end of the day, we're not going to even be using this anyhow. So, I don't think it really matters that much. Let's just put in a little bit more in the way of some dynamite here. I think that is, yeah, that's going to be all of those. They can easily place it from above, no problems. These are already support columns we need to be using, so that is totally fine. And then we just need to get the rest of this put in place. But for right now, I think it is going to be fine just to go ahead, once these are popped in place, it's going to be fine to go ahead and get that detonated. I will go ahead and prioritize all of these, get those put in, and then we should be able to go have a good time blowing that up. So, we do have a shortage of logs, but they will be growing back in. They actually haven't even been harvested all yet, so maybe could put in another lumberjack flag or two, but we don't quite have enough beavers. And we have homeless ones again, even after we, quote-unquote, solved most of those problems. So it looks like all of this is in place. I'm just going to really, really hope nobody gets exploded. If they do, it's their fault. That's how this works, right? Okay, B for boom. Okay, so nothing disappeared. You know, that's always job number one, is make sure nothing actually gets exploded that doesn't need to be exploded. So that is a path that goes away. Those ladders can go away. And now, of course, this isn't connected to anything, but we're going to get that fixed kind of soon. I don't know why this doesn't have anything planted here. Oh, how did this get disconnected? I did not think that was going to be an issue. Okay, bad tide time, perfect timing, beautiful, flawless, as expected. So this can also get removed, but it isn't really necessary. But we're going to do it anyway. So now, folks, this is where this gets a little spicy. And it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So I guess I need to have that at that level. Because remember, there's only so many orientations from which these things can be built without support. So I do have to, unfortunately, kind of lay a lot of this out first. It just, you know, is the way it is. Kind of impossible to escape it. But I trust that you trust that I have some sort of an idea what I'm doing. Whether or not that is actually true remains to be seen. But I do have to just manually set this up, and then we can, of course, time-lapse the actual construction. One, because we don't have a whole lot of dirt. Two, because, well, I'm not going to make you sit here for the entire history of mankind for this to be... Oh, there we go. Hold on. I'm not going to make you sit here for this to actually be finished, because that would be cruel and unusual punishment, and probably also punishable under the Geneva Convention. So, I'm going to go ahead and just continue working on it. Did you know, speaking of the Geneva Conventions, I'm pretty sure that's where this came from. They had to change the coloration of health packs in some video games because the red plus sign is actually protected as like a wartime symbol for medical aid, which I did not know. Interesting factoid there for you. But so that's why those will be green in a lot of games instead of red. The example that comes to mind for me is Halo Combat Evolved, the first one from 2001. That had to be changed at some point. But I could be wrong. I have been wrong before. I will be wrong again. But I digress. And of course, I've got space over here to continue stuff going in. But I guess I can just kind of follow how this has been set up. Let's rotate one more time. Bear with me, folks. We're getting there. We're getting real close. Just got to put all of this in place. And get everything about as perfect as we can. Looks like that's going to be that. That's fine. This isn't... Oh, because of how I built this. Yep, see, actions have consequences, kids. This should have been terrain up to that point, so we will have to modify that when we get there. But I believe, minus a couple of these things here, everything should be mostly good to go. Just making sure that these arrows are, in fact, in the correct direction here. This is not possible to do because we don't have a terrain thing here. We will at some point, but that point is not today. Looks like I missed here and here, and then also here, and then also here. So that should just about, I say as I find another thing I forgot, another two things I forgot, that should just about cover almost everything here to fix our orientation. I just keep finding more spots that I missed. But they're going to get that taken care of, and then of course that will get filled in with blanks. We do have additional stuff to explode here, which I am happy to do now. Very good. And there are still more pillars to be constructed, as one does. You know how this goes at this point. And I am going to try and get as much of this done as I can today, with the knowledge that I can't just have everything just be time lapses the whole time. But let's go ahead and get this guy going back in time lapse mode. We will eventually get everything popped in the way it's supposed to be, and then get that whole layer put back on, and then we can continue building up and building down and building all around, and then everything will be perfectly fine until we have to do something else. But while they're doing that, might as well go ahead and talk about what I would like to do for the rest of this episode once we get all of this stuff taken care of here. I do want to get rid of the river because there's not really anything else we're irrigating down here. We do have the small crop of kohlrabis and all that other fun stuff, but I think we should be able to get rid of that and hopefully being the operative term, start removing the main reservoir if we can store a little bit more stuff. We will see. We talked about the other ideas that I had for reservoir construction and storage and everything a little bit earlier in this episode, but of course all of that stuff will, say it with me, just take time to get done, and we will see what we're able to accomplish. But we have a plan. We have something in the works. It just has to take shape. So we will see what they can get done during this time lapse, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so that's enough time lapsing for right now. What I did manage to get done is I got the two boys hooked up to our little water dispenser here, instead of having them climb up from below. And there's a little bit of this that's not accessible right now because it is blocked from the two boys by all of our water stuff. So that's going to have to get taken care of in due time. But now the problem is we're out of dirt, and it is not going to get better unless we manage to build another dirt excavator. And I don't really know where the best place to put one of these is going to end up being, which is unfortunate because this is a very, very slow process. 2 hours to make a single block's worth of dirt, and there's thousands more of these that we're going to have to place. So I'm not going to make you sit through a time lapse of a whole bunch of seasons, cycles, whatever you want to define them as. So I think any further terrain placement is probably going to have to wait till the next episode, which unfortunately for this series is going to end up being Saturday. But what we can do today is we can try really hard to find somewhere else where we can put another one of these, so we are not going to end up waiting until the cows come home. And I don't even have cows, so that's going to be a really, really long time. But we can go ahead and take care of a little bit of this nagging stuff. Just get those out of there. And now that pretty much all of this is in place, we can think about removing the rest of these bits here. This is no longer connected to anything. So easily can just come in here with our double dynamites and get that removed. We will, of course, have to have some way for them to get up here. So let's put in just a couple ladders. There's all sorts of garbage on the ground, all these planks that they can pick up that they don't really need, but I'm going to leave there anyway. So the dirt excavator is a 5x6 building, 5 wide, 6 deep, including the entrance, plus you have to have a way for the beavers to get in, so it's really more like a 5x7. And, you know, there's not really a lot of great spots we can put another one of these things. Like I said, this is a very small map, it's very tight, and a lot of this is pretty necessary space. So, I really don't know, man. We can't even put it underneath any of these things because these columns are going to be in the way. So, seeing how this is currently set up, without messing up any of the layering we've already done, I'm kind of afraid that we're going to need to get rid of basically everything right here in order for this to be viable. Now, I can remove this lumber mill, you know, just matter of fact, because we have 1,100 planks and a whole bunch more on the ground. And if I got rid of the rest of this stuff, we could pretty easily just put another one of these guys connected right here, facing this way so that they could both come in off of the same ladder attached somewhere else. But that still requires we have a 5x5 space starting in this corner. Now, obviously 5x5 this way is fine, but we only have 3, which means we'd have to get rid of this industrial pile, this lumber mill, and then everything else that's stored over here, which I guess is fine, but it is really, really not going to be a very enjoyable process to get this popped back in the way that it really needs to be. So I'm just gonna start, because you know you kind of just have to get going no matter what. They can still access some stuff by coming around the long way if I get rid of this, which is unfortunately what's going to have to happen. But I'm trying to be real careful not to strand any beavers in the slop here. What in the world is happening over here? Okay, I think this might be the Unstuckify mod kind of glitching out here. So, bad news for this guy, I guess. I don't know how to fix that. Okay, let's see. Maybe if I just click this? Oh, that was cool. He just, like, teleported. That's weird. I figured it was just automatic, but hey, alright. Cool. I'm glad that didn't end with that beaver having to die, because that's always sad. So I'm not going to worry about stuff being on the ground because, honestly, we don't have enough time in life to be worrying about such things. There's, quote-unquote, real problems affecting people. This... because there's... everything's hard over here, man. It is just a process that does, in fact, take time. I know, you've never heard of that before, but you know how it goes. Let's get these removed. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and this, unfortunately, is the 5th. It's going to have to go away along with this, which... Okay, let's evacuate everybody from here. Get that out of the way. Okay, so that's working. I am going to need to demolish, I guess, these 4. I almost just did a stupid there. But yeah, that's going to be where that has to go. And then we just have to get across, which going to be fun. So this is still connected, by the way, because everything is connected. But now the problem is, this is not connected, and this is going to have to go... this is going to have to be a little bit of a challenge here, because I can't do anything truly stupid with this. Let's, okay, I got an idea. Let's go vertical here, and then I think I can just go over the top if I come in here with a 6x from this stacked on top of something else. Let's do this. Just humor me here. Maybe I can do a 4x and then a 4x and a 4x is actually probably fine. But first, I have to make sure this is actually going to fit. Pausing helps my brain think. I know it's not what you want to see. What else is in the way here? Because I don't see anything else that could possibly... Ah, there's a path under there. Okay. Every once in a while, those guys will sneak in there. So this is what we're working with. I now have to be able to get above 4x... Oh, okay. I honestly did not expect that to work. So that'll connect both of those. This will connect here. This will connect here. This will connect here. And then this will be able to get everything connected besides that. And this I know is not really an ideal scenario. I really should be putting more than one extra ones of these in here, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be a viable option. So we will be forced to just do this the kind of weird nonsense, why in the world are you doing this way, because that is the way the cookie crumbles. But don't worry, it's going to be okay. I am determined... Nope, not that. I am determined to still have the coffee brewery over here, and I think I can make it happen. We're just going to have to be kind of careful about how this gets popped back in here. So I know that will fit there. And I know this has to go across it. I'm not expecting this to clear, and it does not, so that's fine. Let's go here. And then... Oh, yes, here we go. Look at this. Look at this, folks. Perfect. Well, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. So, that'll go across here. Power is transferred. And what we're going to have to accomplish here is a little bit of that, a little bit of that. That will get this communicated here. This is still communicated there. And then all we've got to do is pop in a ladder here and here. Get that connected. That will be connected just fine to there. This will be connected once we actually have a ladder coming up this side here. Make sure that is perfect. There we go. Was that guy on Storage Wars, Barry, or whatever? He'd always go perfect, just like me. It's like, okay, I don't think that's how that works, but you do you, man. Let's also take this out. 5x almost. Almost. Let's go for that. I know this is like the most stupid way to possibly do this, but don't make me say it. Don't just don't make me say it. You already know. You already know where this is going. Okay. Ladder there. So now, all of this, once this absolute monstrosity is completed, all of this will actually work. Just got to make it happen. Those guys are going to do their best. I know we have the materials to make it work. And we do somehow still have almost 6,000 food and over 6,000 water, despite me getting rid of an entire thing over here. Yeah. This is not going to happen to any degree of expedience without this being finished. So let's just hope everything's going to be fine. I am... Okay, I was a little worried that we weren't going to have all of the materials. Treated planks might be a little... Oh, there it is. There it is. The treated planks are going to be a little sketchy, so... See, I thought this was actually going to still be connected just fine. Okay, that's going to be the easiest way to get that hooked back up. Just have to get that popped in. I thought for sure that had been taken care of. Oh well. You know how this goes. But that is going to have to be left alone for a little bit of time. Yeah. Okay, we got some exploding to do here. There we go. There we go. So now this is finally finally looking really, really good. Obviously, we can't do anything with this yet. We will get there. Rest assured, we will get there. But I think we kind of just need to leave most of this alone for the time being and talk about a few other things. Now, I am going to have this go as high up as it can possibly go without interfering with where we're going to be putting all of the housing and stuff. So currently, this is above the maximum terrain height. This is the height of the bottom level of the mangroves. This would be the same height as whatever is corralling the mangroves in place and the water in there and so on and so forth. If I keep it that height, I think we're going to be able to still do everything we want to do. The only issue is going to be how are we going to handle expanding this? Now, I can just completely redo all of this all the way to the end of the map, and I kind of don't want to mess with that. I kind of just want to do this in bits and pieces like I had done before, which is to have, just to remove that so we can actually see, 3 of these, and then there is a drop down here on half the levels and a drop down here on the rest, like this one. It is not going to be a very difficult thing to duplicate. I believe these are 6x1s. They should pretty much all be 6x1s. And it looks like they are. So we will, of course, have to have some space in between, but it is a pretty simple thing for us to come through here and get all of this taken care of. We just have to be a little careful about where all of the extra stuff goes, which, considering how this is built, I don't think that's going to be a problem. It is a pretty straightforward thing. Turn this off here. It just goes straight down, it goes in here, and then it goes down there. We just need to keep our wits about us as we, actually set this thing up. So, this currently is flowing this way, and then it goes down, and then it goes down. So this way means this way is going to have to flow this way, which means we get one more above that, and then it goes that way. I don't know if we can make that happen again. But just so we don't get too crazier again. Sorry to keep pausing, but it is much more important to me that I do this correctly. So right now, this would be flowing this way and then that way, which means this next level here would be going the opposite way. And then we'd have one more on top with another set of double platforms here. I think this may be just about perfect here. Oh, yes. Look at that. Look at, okay, I don't pretend to be a genius. You should know that by now. I've published 1,200 videos in which it has been exhaustively documented that I am, in fact, not actually that smart. And I've just realized I made a tremendous mistake, so... Oh, see, this is why. This is why you should never, ever trust your life to influencers online, because most people who do this are really not that smart. Oh, hey, see what I just did there? Also, I detest the term influencer, and I really don't want to be called one. I just play video games and try to get people to be nice to each other. But I digress. So, if you're paying attention at home, you'll notice I did it again. I forgot to put the layer of levees in. Well, there's your problem. So let's take this out again without removing the entire height there. Man, that is a boneheaded mistake. So yes, we do actually have to have the barriers at the edge here, which is how this has been set up, if I am not mistaken. See, I did it. I did it again. I did it again. How many times can I did it again? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. I haven't actually watched enough of that show to really keep making references to it, but I digress. You'll note here that this has to have some level of separation to where it's going. Let's just take a second. There we go. See, that has to be set like this. And this bit can't be built until we're absolutely certain we're going to be doing this the hard way. Okay, this is why this is paused. Let's take a second to regroup here. I know me and both of my operational brain cells. We're going to have to build these logs, planks, and metal blocks. I have 580 metal blocks. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I have almost 1,000 planks. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I have 1,100 logs. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Therefore, I think we are okay to go ahead and shut the bad water discharge, stop the flow of bad water, and allow them to do what they need to be doing. Let's hit pause again, now that I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's stopped. Okay. What we have to do here is we have to raise the level of... Oh, my brain is trying so hard. We have to raise all of this to the height that we are trying to get it to. So that at the very bare minimum is what we are working with. The flow previously here has this going down to that hole, which means this one is going down this hole, which means impermeable floors have to go all the way out to here. That's one additional level. Now we do double platform, triple platform. Then we do this. Then we do this. So as a reminder, that is an outflow. That way, that way. So that means this way, flowing this way, flowing this way. So it actually, believe it or not, was still correct despite being wrong. We did the wrong math and still got to the right answer in the end because the height is correct is what I'm getting at. So this is going to go all the way out here. Still connected, except this has to go down at the end, which means this is open. And that is where, along with this and this, that is where all of our bad water is going to flow from to go this way here. Okay, now that we've done all this mess, now we have to put in all of our water wheels. There, and then the same thing at the very top, there, and there. So this hasn't quite doubled the production, and I know it's not the perfect solution for the rest of time, but it's going to work well enough for what we're doing moving forward. We just have to trust the process. I know that can be hard sometimes, but it's going to be okay. Impermeable floors here. Raise this up high enough. Those are in place, so this will flow. Oh wait, we had extra height. I'm still going to leave this way for now. We can do this in stages. I just fundamentally do not trust myself with this. Okay, down this way. Then we go down one more level, down that way. That is all sealed, or it will be sealed. And then that gets us to where we currently are, which is to go here, and then to go there, and then to go out that way. Okay. All right. So now that is turned off. It will take time for that to get built. We will leave it alone, and we will allow them to get that constructed. But that is still going to pose the problem of what do we do about power, because that's not going to be connected. That, friends, is going to be something that I will figure out once this is built. But I'm going to go ahead and let them do that. Just keep it, time-lapsing, so on and so forth. A lot of this stuff is not going to have any power, and that is just the way it goes. We have to have this stuff built. And they will do it at a time of their choosing, at a speed of their choosing, because they have agency, and also I probably did at least some of this stuff incredibly, horribly, terribly wrong. But that's what time lapses are for, so we can get this stuff knocked out in a manner that is much, much faster. Thank you, Cycle 47 Temperate Water, for coming in here and turning some of these water wheels so we can still do a little bit of what we are trying to accomplish. Keep in mind the second of the, what are those things called? Excavators? Yeah. That is going to require a lot of treated planks, which at the time of our construction we did not have very many. So don't expect to see that up and running very, very quickly. We're just going to have to wait. Going to have to let them do what they're going to do. And I don't know. Probably by the time that you get to this point of the time lapse, I haven't seen it yet, but that water should be coming in, the clean water, and getting a couple of these things popping in and out. I may end up pausing some of those buildings just to speed other stuff along, but we will get done what we can get done whenever we can get it done, because, nothing's really that serious. It's just playing with beavers on the internet. So I'm going to let them get the rest of this popped in place, speed it up however fast it has to go, and then once they have finished, we'll come back, and maybe I can figure out a way to get power connected that's not going to be completely stupid. And then we can move on. I'm imagining probably just putting in additional stacks of those row houses because those do transfer power very nicely. We'll just have to see. And of course, that will just take time. So I will catch up with you on the other side of this time lapse. Alright, so it looks like they've finished just about everything that's actually necessary. I've got these 3 and these 3 connected to each other, but they're not connected to the rest of... Okay, we got to get rid of that. Not connected to the rest of everything else. So here's what's going to happen. Wow, wow indeed. I feel the same. Get rid of the labor monument, and instead we come up here with our large row houses, and we just pop those in right like so. So that's 4 more of those. And then we get that connected there, we get that connected there. And then this just has to be replaced here. So let's take a look at how this is set up. Just going to have to be some ladders, which should not be too terribly difficult to get put in place. This easiest thing is just to do that. Get this connected there, there, there. I know I don't need those paths there, but I'm going to put them there anyway, because that is just going to be the easiest thing for us to do. And I'm just going to leave this open-ended so we can continue going up when the time strikes. As of now, it is just a really convenient way to have the power go into the top of each large row house. Except that one's... No, those are all still large. Okay. But you can see how nicely this lines up, and I just really like this. I think it's pretty cool. So let's get that prioritized nice and high. I do have some ladders here that are going to be necessary at some point, but not really the highest priority. They're going to take care of that. You can see that we still have not made any progress whatsoever on the terrain blocks here. I had hoped to get rid of the river in today's episode, but I just don't think it's going to be possible. Hopefully the next one, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you what we can do, though, is we can easily go ahead and get rid of this. Very easily. Get rid of that. Then, of course, this will take care of all of that. This will take care of all of that. And give us a lot of materials that we can come and grab without too much pain and suffering. Did I space these incorrectly? No, I did not. That's just perspective playing a trick on me. All right, cool. So, that I don't want 30 times speed. No. That almost always goes poorly. So, we have a bad tide coming in a little over a day. I really, really would like for this to be able to be turned back on. So, let's just really quickly make sure everything is safe. I believe it to be. So that is looking good. That is looking good there. And then the ones on the bottom we hadn't messed with. All right. Let's go ahead and turn this back on. We're going to watch all that poison come up here nice and quickly. And not affect anything down here. Love to see that. Absolutely love it. So this will come through here. Not infect anything because... mercifully, it does not do that. And now we should be turning. This will be generating a lovely large quantity of HP hamster power, as one of you so politely requested I refer to it as. But of course, we also have Honda Preludes, Harry Potter, Hewlett Packards, etc. So, whatever you choose to name that, that is fine. And now look at this. Once this is all flowing nicely, which it should be with minimal problems. Look at that. Look at that. We're up to 2,400. Peaking into 25, and now it's going back down to about 22, 23, 24. Okay, it's cycling a little bit. But that's a whole lot better. That is a whole lot better than everything else. You know, relying on an engine just to do all of that. I am very excited to see this come together. We just need 17 more treated planks, which 15 more. Which hopefully aren't going to take that long. But I think, friends, this is the time where we go ahead and say goodbye for today. I know it's frustrating not to get a whole lot of stuff done. But, you know, you take a look at what we've accomplished. It's still a pretty good amount. Still pretty good. We managed to add 2 more layers to our badwater power production. We put in some more pilings, I guess you could call them, for additional terrain expansion. Solved a couple small problems. Added some more housing. And got a lot of nice stuff all taken care of. And we have 17 beavers who aren't currently working. I think that's going to be a problem for the next time, though. when we can put in some more builders' huts or various other things, additional farmhouses maybe. But for now, it is time for this episode to end. I really appreciate you watching this series, giving some really good ideas, helpful feedback, constructive feedback. All of it is, of course, very welcome. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. And of course, Beard Boosters directly supporting the channel, supporting me, making it possible to keep doing this, and not have sponsors for stuff that people don't really want to see. I did announce earlier this week that I'm going to be taking a couple days off per week just because I have so much stuff I have to take care of that I've been putting off for a very long time, because it's really fun to do this stuff on YouTube with you guys, but real life is a thing that exists, and I'm going to try to find a little bit of a healthier balance for myself. But that doesn't mean we're never going to have more content. Of course, I did say this series is going to be back on Saturday, then Water Beavers is Monday, Friday now, so this one's Tuesday, Saturday, if you can't keep up with that. Of course, Roller Coaster Tycoon on Sunday, and then what's going to happen on Wednesday, Thursday is those are, of course, going to be flex days, where if I have the time and I'm able to do it, I would like to still make a video or have something there. And that's where some of those colony submissions that you guys have been putting in for the past couple weeks are going to come in. If I have time to go and, take a short tour around some of your colonies and say, hey, this is pretty cool, or I like how you did this, so on and so forth, then that could be a nice, between like 5 and 15 minutes usually, just taking a tour of you guys' constructions and see what is neat, and give you guys a chance to show off some of your work. Because I know there's a lot of you guys in the Discord and the comments and everything who are always talking about the cool stuff you're doing, and I like to see it, and I think the rest of you will as well. But for now, the time is here for us to say goodbye for today. I'll see you back on this series on Saturday, and, maybe Wednesday or Thursday this week we'll have one of those. It's just going to depend on the time I have, but I'm very much looking forward to being back in this series with you guys again very, very soon. Take care, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.